It is time to read Bind in 13 by Chloe Walsh. I honestly really like this cover. I don't know why. I just think that it's so beautiful. I love it. I hope that this book is as good as its cover. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to read this book, to be honest. Also, something that's kind of like deceiving about this book is that it doesn't look that big, but it actually is. It's like over 600 pages with teeny tiny font for ants, and like the pages are like really, really thin. So I think that this is a fake 600 pages. I think this is actually a much bigger book, and like it has like the nice, I love books like this. I'll be able to hold it and fold it and all that good stuff. So yeah, I haven't read a big book in a while, so I'm pretty excited. So from my understanding, Bind in 13, I don't know what that means, but basically it's the first book in the Boys of Tommen, and Tommen is like a college, but this is where I get confused because I think in America they call high schools colleges sometimes, and so I think these characters are in high school or it's their first year of college. But basically it follows along Johnny and Shannon, and Johnny is like, you know, that popular guy who's always playing, like he's always like head quarterback on the sports teams, captain of whatever sports teams, popular, cool, has all these friends and everything that seems to be going for him. And then there's Shannon, who is a very, very shy girl who I believe has an abusive home life, is how I understand it. And so she's very withdrawn, and she ends up going to Tommen College to kind of outrun whatever has been hurting her. I don't know if it's families or an ex or what it is. And then Johnny becomes interested in her, and he's like, oh, I want to know more about her. I want to protect her. I want to take care of her. And she's obviously really scared because like somebody who's been through that, it's hard for them to trust people. So I think that this book is going to be really good. I think that it's going to be pretty deep. I think that it's going to be emotional and maybe even a bit hard to read at times, but I think it's going to be good. I do believe that this was published on Wattpad at first, if I'm not mistaken, and got picked up by a publisher. So like, that's really cool. So yeah, everybody's been talking about this book for years now, and I finally decided it is time to read it. So without further ado, let's read the first book in the Boys of Tommen series. So I'm definitely more than 100 pages into Bind in 13, and here are my thoughts so far. This is a very fun, slow-paced high school romance book, and I'm having a good time with it. It's definitely a slow burn, which I'm really liking, and I do really like our two main characters. I will say though, the first like 50 or so pages, I was like, I don't understand a word of what these characters are saying, because the Irish slang in this book literally has like a full glossary of like what that means. So I was definitely referring back and forth, as well as how to pronounce characters' names. So I'm very thankful that this is the front of the book, because I find often it's like you go to the back of the book and you have to find like, oh, this is how you say the name, but it's too late, it's too far gone because I've already read the book and I've already read the name like that. But with this book, you start off with that page, you're like, okay, this is what the slang means. These are how you say these characters' names. Good luck. And I'm like, okay. And I did get used to it. I did manage to figure out the slang and stuff. So now like, yeah, it's easy breezy to get through now. So this book follows the first person perspective of our two main characters. The first one is Shannon, and she is definitely your stereotypical, like, I'm not like other girls girl. She's very, very tiny. She's shy and fragile and has big eyes. You know this, you know the character, that type. She's like the YN, your name, of the books that happen to exist in the world. So that's a little bit cringy, but I actually do like reading about her, as long as I don't have to read for the 100th time that she's so tiny and small. But yeah, I like her personality. She basically grew up constantly being bullied ever since like she was like 4 years old. So her whole school life pretty much. And so she's been bullied, and her bullies are like bad. Like they would cut her hair off, like they would punch her, like all this stuff, because she's very, very pretty, and they feel very insecure about it. And so they're all targeting her. And then on the other end, her home life is also not good because she has an alcoholic father and a mother who
her mother obviously loves her, but she's hurting her in the way of just letting the dad get away with this kind of behavior. And so that's kind of her life. And so she doesn't really have a good escape. And so eventually the bullying gets to be too much and she ends up transferring to Tommen College. And Tommen College is basically like a private school for like really, really rich people, and they're all about rugby. And so she does actually end up going there, and it's great there because people aren't mean to her. She actually has friends at that school, and she meets Johnny. Johnny is our next character. And Johnny is a rugby player, and so he's older than Shannon. Shannon is 15 turning 16, and Johnny is 17 turning 18. And this is important because one of the reasons he doesn't want to pursue her is that he's going to be turning 18 and she'll still technically be a minor. He doesn't want to get into the legalities of that because he's like a really well-known rugby player who's about to go into the big leagues pretty much, like it's his entire life. And he's being scouted, he's being watched, and he's in like a special program for like rugby all-stars and stuff. Like he's like a celebrity in the rugby world. And so he actually sustained an injury when like a couple of years ago that he got surgery for in this like within the year of when this book is taking place. And he ends up going back to rugby way too early and is just kind of suffering with this horrible injury. And so he's interesting because he really, really is just trying to do his passions, but he's not taking care of himself. And so he has a bit of a temper that kind of flares up and stuff. But when it comes to Shannon, he's like really sweet and nice with her, but he also like doesn't want to get involved, but he's also like, he wants to protect her and like keep her safe. And they just like, they mesh well together. And so this whole entire book is just like, they're like kind of always finding their way in the same kind of room. It doesn't, I mean, they do have mutual friends, so that probably happens as well, but they're constantly being pulled to each other, even when they're trying to ignore each other because they both like each other. They haven't even kissed yet. This is like such a good slow burn because you know how much they want each other and how much they like each other. And it's also like cute and innocent too, because Shannon's never dated before, whereas Johnny is a big player and he's very experienced. They're just really fun characters to follow around. I wouldn't say there's anything like super unique or even super like impressive about this book, but I'm enjoying it. It's really just, honestly, it's probably like a guilty pleasure book where it's stereotypical, but there's nothing wrong with that, you know? So yeah, definitely having a good time. I'm excited to read more and just kind of learn more about our cast of characters, see where it goes. I really love how just like slice of life it is. Some people may not like it because it is very slow paced, but for me, I really like it because it's like, this is the reality of like being a human being. Not every day is going to be super exciting, but you do get to learn about the characters and all the chapters have a purpose. So yeah, I'm having a good time. So I'm going to continue to read Binding 13 and I'm going to update you around the halfway mark. So I will see you then. So I'm now definitely more than halfway through Binding 13, and not only do I know what Binding 13 means now, I'm also just like really surprised about how much I'm enjoying this book because it's like, it's very, very slow paced, but there's just something about it that I can't put it down. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? And then it's like, I think teenage me honestly would have been obsessed with this book. Like I was so into the like, you know, the YN kind of character, and being just like that shy, awkward, clumsy, tiny girl. I was so into that. As I am in this current timeline, I do find it cringy, but there's just something endearing still about just her character and all the stuff that she's gone through and continues to go through, and how she's still just like, is just trying to live. And some of the stuff that she does, I'm honestly really surprised that she just like pushes out of her comfort zone and does things because she thinks that it's the right thing to do, and it's like eating her up inside despite her being awkward and full of anxiety. And I don't know, I'm proud of her. And then like with Johnny as well, like he obviously is head over heels for this girl, but he knows that he's going to be going out to Dublin to play like professional rugby and stuff, so he doesn't want to get involved with her, but he can't keep away from her. And like, it's hard because it's given her mixed messages, because she's like, okay, like he likes me, I'm pretty sure, and then she's like, maybe he's not, and her friends are like, oh, he's leading you on, but it's not actually like he's fighting with himself, trying to figure out like what he wants in his life. And he wants Shannon, but he's also just trying to think like long term, and he doesn't want to hurt her, and he's trying to be friends with her, and it's like, oh, I just need them to be together. Like this slow burn is a slow burn. It's also like, it's really weird because if you've watched some of my videos before, you know how much I care about like story structure. You have a certain structure for a story and stuff that you kind of expect to happen, and you have like this formula, but this book does not follow that formula. This book is just like, each chapter is just kind of like a different day for the characters, and it's honestly really nice. It kind of, in a roundabout way, does remind me of Anne of Green Gables, because it's just like different chapters following along this character as she's just going through life, and Johnny as he's going through life, and how their interactions kind of go together. And it's not like this big epic, a bunch of stuff happening, a bunch of drama. Like obviously there's drama, but like, you know what I mean? Like there's no like build up to a climax and then to like an end point. It's just chapters of these characters living their lives. And the closest thing I can think of is the first Anne of Green Gables book, and I think that it's a very different type of book, and I'm honestly really digging it. It has very crude language, which I guess is very common, because I've heard of very crude language and a lot of Irish slang, but honestly it's a vibe. It's such a vibe, and I'm having a really good time, and I'm gonna have to get the second book like immediately if it continues. Like, we'll see what the last 100 pages do, but I'm excited. So I'm gonna continue to read Binded 13, and I'll update you when I finish this book. So I will see you then with my final thoughts. Last night I finished Binded 13, and oh my goodness, this book ends on such a cliffhanger that I immediately had to get the second one because it's just so good. And it's like, the characters are so real, like they feel so real, and you just get drawn into the story, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't follow like your typical story arc. It doesn't matter. It's just so good. And it's like one of those stories that I feel like it's hard to explain like why it's good, because it's like, oh yeah, it follows along Johnny and Shannon and their life in high school as they're falling for each other, and Shannon has a difficult home life, and Johnny wants to become like this really big superstar rugby player. And it's like, it doesn't sound like good, like super amazing, but it's so good. Nothing makes me happier than when a book that's been super hyped actually meets the hype for it. The characters are so good. They're all well developed. They're all unique. They all make sense. All their actions make sense. They're all realistic. The situations that the characters are in are realistic. And it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. Like this is like, it's a very emotional book because of the constant abuse and literal torture that Shannon goes through, even in just like this book. And then for Johnny, he's in a lot of physical pain because of his surgery, and he's not taking care of himself. And there's all these other characters too, like Gibbsy, his best friend, and then we have like Claire and Lizzie, and like we have a nice cast of characters that all come in at the right moments. The banter in this book is really good, and it's like, it's literally just like when you sit around hanging out with your friends and you have like side conversations happening, having a conversation trying to talk about one thing, but then it gets derailed. And like this book does such a good job in just encapsulating that in the book, and it's really fun. It's definitely a little bit hard to get into at the beginning because I'm unfamiliar with the slang of Ireland, but once you get into it, you really get into it. And it's just really, oh wow, it's just like, it's really refreshing. It's really good. It's emotional. I'm surprised that it's a young adult book, to be honest, with the stuff that they can get away with in this book. But I feel like I say this about a lot of YA, because you gotta remember Hunger Games is YA as well, and the amount of stuff that they get away with in that book. Yep. Yeah, so this is a very good book. And I'm not really like a sports romance kind of girl either. Like, I think the last one I read was Icebreaker. That was like 2 years ago. That was a while ago. But this. Yeah, so overall, good book. I'm not even like the target audience. I know that younger me, teenage me, would have eaten this book up, and adult me has eaten this book up. I really love Shannon, and she deserves the world, and I love that Johnny wants to give her the world, because like she's had such a tough life. But like something that I think is really great and admirable about her is that she has literally been in so much pain constantly, but she doesn't treat anybody badly. She's just nice and she's sweet, and I just hope that she's okay. I just really hope she's okay. They deserve their happy ending. So today I'm going to be awarding Binding 13 a total of 4.5 stars. I literally have to get the second book. Like, I need to read it immediately. I do not care about my TBR that's literally underneath this entire pile. I need to get the second book immediately. Which is exactly what I did. That's why I ended up getting on my Kobo. So this is the next book that I'm going to be reading, which is Keepin' 13, which is the next book in the Boys of Tommen series. I don't know if there's only 2 books for Johnny and Shannon, and then there's other ones, because it was like Fightin' 6 or Believin' in 6 or something. I'm like, but Johnny's 13, so I guess it's not about Johnny and Shannon, so I guess maybe this is the conclusion to their story coming up. So I don't know, but I need to read it immediately. So if you're interested in watching me read Keepin' 13 or any other book that happens to be on my never-ending TBR, definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button, and great news for you before you go. If you've ever wanted to be part of an exclusive community where you get access to behind-the-scenes content, polls, videos before they're published, and just a fun, engaging community, much more as well, you can by becoming a member of my channel. All proceeds go directly toward me getting more books that we can read together and talk about. So if that's interesting to you, all the information is in the description to this video. So with that, I'm going to wish you warm wishes and fish kisses, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.